The South China Sea is one of the most important regions in the world. Every day, thousands of ships pass through these waters. A large part of global trade depends on this single area. But what would happen if it suddenly became blocked? In this video, we explore that scenario. The South China Sea forms a vast triangular basin on the western edge of the Pacific. It stretches from the Taiwan Strait in the north to the islands of Borneo and Sumatra in the south. Its shores touch 8 entities: China, Taiwan, Vietnam, the Philippines, Malaysia, Brunei, Indonesia, and the outlying territories of the United States. This sea links the Pacific and Indian Oceans, serving as a vital connector between two of the world's largest economic regions. More than just a local waterway, it acts as a central artery for the global system, channeling goods, energy, and resources between continents. The stability and openness of this maritime corridor affect not only its neighbors, but economies and supply chains around the world. 3 narrow straits define the boundaries of the South China Sea's shipping arteries. The Strait of Malacca, squeezed between Sumatra and the Malay Peninsula, serves as the main southern gateway, funneling ships towards Singapore's massive port. To the northeast, the Luzon Strait separates Taiwan and the Philippines and acts as the primary passage for vessels entering from the Pacific. The Taiwan Strait forms a secondary corridor, linking the South China Sea with the East China Sea. Major ports, Singapore, Hong Kong, and Shanghai, anchor the network, with Kaohsiung and Manila positioned along the eastern rim. Satellite tracking reveals dense ribbons of vessel traffic running north-south from Malacca to Hong Kong and east-west through the Luzon and Taiwan Straits. These overlapping bands highlight the region's role as a crossroads for global shipping. Roughly 1/3 of all global maritime trade passes through the South China Sea each year, amounting to approximately $5 trillion in goods. This corridor carries a diverse mix of cargo, including container ships loaded with electronics, apparel and machinery, bulk carriers transporting iron ore, coal and grain, and tankers moving crude oil and liquefied natural gas. The route is especially vital for high-value supply chain components, semiconductors, circuit boards and automotive parts shipped from East Asia to factories around the world. Any disruption here would not just slow finished goods, it would also delay the critical parts that keep global manufacturing running. A closure of the South China Sea can take several forms, each grounded in recent history. Naval blockades, the placement of sea mines, and the declaration of exclusion zones are all established tools for restricting passage. Insurers may also trigger de facto closures by refusing to cover ships entering high-risk waters, making transit commercially unviable. In April 2012, Chinese Coast Guard vessels surrounded Scarborough Shoal, preventing Filipino fishing boats from entering for nearly a week. Automatic identification system data showed a 78% drop in vessel traffic near the shoal during the standoff. 2 years later, in 2014, the deployment of the Haiyang Shiyu 9-81 oil rig led to a standoff with Vietnam, with Chinese ships enforcing a 5 nautical mile exclusion zone. Shipping in adjacent lanes fell sharply, and tankers rerouted to avoid the area. From 2013 to 2016, satellite imagery documented rapid island construction and a growing military presence in the Central Sea, followed by a 30% reduction in commercial traffic through those waters. Each incident led insurers like Lloyd's to raise war risk premiums, spiking by as much as 62% after the 2016 arbitration case. These precedents show how quickly operational decisions and insurance responses can reshape maritime flows when access is threatened. Shipping companies facing a sudden closure of the South China Sea must choose between 2 main options. The shorter detour skirts through Indonesia's Lombok or Sunda Straits, adding roughly 1,100 nautical miles and about a day and a half to the typical Shanghai to Singapore route. This path increases fuel consumption by approximately 110 tons per voyage, raising operating costs but keeping schedules within reach. The longer alternative, routing around the Cape of Good Hope, extends the journey by over 8,200 nautical miles and adds nearly 13 days. For a large container vessel, that means burning an extra 820 tons of fuel and incurring costs that can exceed $500,000 per trip, depending on market rates. Faced with these penalties, many carriers cancel scheduled sailings, known as blank sailings, to avoid unprofitable runs. These cancellations drive up spot freight rates almost immediately, as capacity tightens across the Asia to Europe and Asia to US lanes. Each decision is a calculation, weighing fuel, time, and market exposure against the risks of delay, as the industry scrambles to adapt to a new, longer map. A sudden closure of the South China Sea would send shockwaves through the global economy. UNCTAD and the World Bank models estimate a 0.8% drop in worldwide production within months, as supply chains falter and manufacturing slows. The price of moving goods would rise sharply, with inflation climbing by 0.4 to 0.6 percentage points across major markets. Oil and liquefied natural gas shipments, forced onto longer routes, would command a premium, pushing up energy costs for industries and households alike. Major ports from Singapore to Rotterdam would see congestion ripple outward as vessels queue for alternative passages. These effects would be felt not just by shipping firms and manufacturers, but by consumers facing higher prices and delayed goods around the world. Repeated threats to South China Sea access have pushed governments and industries to rethink their long-term strategies. Investment in overland rail links, like the China-Europe Railway, has accelerated, but these routes move only a fraction of maritime volume. Major ports from India to Vietnam are expanding capacity, aiming to capture diverted trade. Manufacturers are shifting more assembly closer to end markets, while nations coordinate naval deployments and joint patrols to secure alternative corridors. The global system adapts, but every adjustment underscores how deeply the world depends on this maritime artery. Right now, 1/3 of global shipping relies on these waters. As tensions persist, the world's supply chains remain exposed. Stability here isn't just regional, it's the backbone of daily life everywhere. If you enjoy exploring the geography shaping global power, consider subscribing to Strategic Geography so you don't miss future videos. You can also explore the other videos on the channel to discover more strategic locations around the world. And tell us, which strategic location should we explore next?